I think for me personally, working is ruining my life. I don't want to do it anymore, and it's going to be a hard pass from me.
This is becoming an issue, guys. I don't know what to do. Because everywhere that I go, I'm always like, I always zone out. And all I can think about is, God, how can I make money? How can I be so freaking rich? Then me and my friends will come in here and just ball out. Like, I was in Obi's house the other day and I was thinking to myself, Jesus, imagine if it was me they were paying all this money to. Guys, I don't want to be just a consumer. I don't just want to be consuming. I also want to be creating for people to consume. What? Just imagine being the one. You're buying all these 500k, 1 million, 2 million bottles. Imagine being the one they're giving the money to. Hey God. Not 1, not 2, not 3, not 4, not 10, not 15. People are just giving you money for a good time. I will show you a good time, honey.
Your job is not your life. It is just a job. I shall explain the reasons. Number 1, your company is not your family. Companies exist primarily for profit and are not responsible for your personal well-being. Number 2, your colleagues are not your friends. Keep in mind that people have their own interests and motivations. Number 3, if something bad happens to you, your company can easily replace you. Number 4, stop believing corporate propaganda, which is designed to brainwash and enslave you to a job. Number 5, come to your workplace, do your job, get paid, and go home. Remember that there is more to life than just your career. Drop yes in the comment if you agree with me.
I'm doing a note by 2025, and the first part of that for me has been decluttering my house. So this is everything that I'm taking to Goodwill today to free up space in my house. Okay, first up we have random water bottles that I don't use because I have 90 of them. 2 little baby crock pots, which I literally bought at Goodwill, and I've used these maybe 1 time, and I've had them for like 2 years. I don't need them. An entire bag of my kids' clothes because they don't need 97 t-shirts. An entire bag of my clothes, which granted this is like the 4th or 5th bag that I've taken to Goodwill in the past week. 3 random blankets out of my hall closet that we don't use and don't need. So this year I will not be buying anything unless it's like something I'm replenishing, like something ran out, like shampoo, conditioner, that kind of stuff. I'll replenish things, but I'm not going to TJ Maxx, I'm not going to Marshalls, I'm not going to Target, any of those stores, because my house does not need anything. I do not need anything. I'm trying to rewire my brain into knowing that I don't need all this stuff. First step is taking all your extra shit to Goodwill. So if you want to get on this journey and start this process, declutter your house. It's the first step. Just do it.
Remember, I really don't walk nowhere and thing like that. And I frustrated and thing like that. Well, you keep that in mind, right, Cathy? I want you keep that I don't walk nowhere now. Remember, I was fired and thing.
I would not be celebrating no Christmas because Christmas is for people who have money, and I do not fall in that category. So who celebrating and having a good time, big up on yourself, have fun, or keep it safe. I not on that Christmas thing. Probably next year or the year after, probably by 2028 and thing when I finally catch myself. But right now, I backing out of that Christmas thing.
I'm literally sitting at fucking work trying not to lose my fucking shit because I am so over this goddamn holiday. I hate Christmas. I fucking hate it. And if you're fucking poor, you probably also hate Christmas because this is a fucking rich people holiday and it is impossible to enjoy if you don't have fucking money. Someone came in here today and told me that they spent $500 on a light up deer. What? I'm literally struggling to pay for the one thing my child wants for Christmas, which is $500. And people are spending that on fucking decor.
A lot of people were really upset with my video yesterday about me talking about how
Christmas is a rich person holiday. And I knew I was gonna get those type of comments, but like, I just think it's really funny. I think it's really funny that people wanted to suggest all these things I could do without money. And let's just bring up a couple of these examples. I was gonna tag this person's comment, but this person always leaves like miserable comments on my post and really wants attention. So I just screenshotted it. I'm gonna let them see this video and then I'm gonna block them, but I just wanna like go over these examples really quick. Also, I have a lot of people saying that $500 is really crazy for a present, and it absolutely is. I will not be buying my daughter the $500 gift she wants, and I will be trying to find a cheaper option, but it's just the fact that some people are spending $500 on decor while I'm struggling to just think of trying to get her something close to that gift. But let's go over these examples. Making cookies with your kids, cheap. It is, unless you literally have no money, because you have to buy cookie mix or you have to buy ingredients for the cookies. So yes, cheap, but if you're on your last dollar, you can't do that. Reading Christmas books, watching movies together, free. Yes, if you have Christmas books and if you have Christmas movies. Otherwise, you have to pay for both of those. And yes, I do have Christmas books and movies, and we will be doing that. But for some people, that's not possible. Putting up string lights, $5. Again, that's still $5, and $5 I might not have. Dollar store stockings, $20. Might not have that $20, and then even if I did have the $20 to buy the stockings, what if I didn't have the money to fill them? Not very Christmassy feeling, is it? Drive around and look at Christmas lights, $5. I'm assuming for the gas, which you're right, but again, if we don't have $5, we can't go and do that. If you're like me and have to plan your gas for work and taking your kids around, you might not have that extra gas money. And that may sound pathetic to a lot of people on here, and be grateful if that sounds pathetic to you, because you've obviously never been in that situation and you've never had to go through it. And I love the people that want to just tell me that if I feel the Christmas magic and if I'm positive, we will have a great Christmas, even if I couldn't buy gifts. But let me tell you, are you gonna wake up with your kids with no gifts on Christmas? I can have all the Christmas magic I want, but when my kids wake up and there are no gifts, the magic I feel like will be lost. And that's just the reality of this holiday. I'm not trying to make anybody feel guilty that has money, that spends money, that likes Christmas. It's just, I feel like I can't because I've never had money, and I'm always trying to change my financial situation, but it just sucks, and I'm never gonna be a person that likes Christmas because of this. Not to mention, so many people are just struggling in this world while people just spend crazy money on things that are useless. It's very frustrating. Happy holidays.
If any at all you haven't been considering starting your own online business, I think now is the time. Jamaica is amongst many countries who is now paying the lowest amount in salary. Jamaica paying you guys the lowest amount, right, for the work that you're doing, for the 9 to 5 that you have been implementing. Guess what? You need to start your own online business today as a digital marketer. Get paid in USD, because guess what? The Jamaican currency is getting weaker and weaker and weaker and weaker, and you're continuing working harder and harder to make less money. Start your own online business as a digital marketer. For more information regarding this business opportunity, comment digital marketing and I'll be there to assist.
You have a lot of businesses that are open and thriving because of the lower minimum wage.
If they're thriving, pay the fucking employees more.
To solve income inequality in this country, all that has to happen
is for the proletariat, the masses, to rise up and crush the bourgeois, to dismantle the settler colonial state that is the United States of America, to establish a dictatorship of the proletariat, to seize the means of production, to establish a truly equitable society. Eat the fucking rich.
Trinidad, wake up. Like all you forget, the country broke where USD is concerned. All you forget that. All you forget, the reason why this artist is flying in is to capitalize off of Carnival 2025 for the USD, because we country don't have it. They forget they get the friends the USD and the other friends the USD, so they're trying to make it back off of us. And you guys are showing them. If all you have to dig it out of the dirt, sell a kidney, sell a liver, all you're gonna do it just to say you was there. You went that. Me? I broken, and according to Father Berkey, you're frustrated. They will never know when I have. Not me. According to Halle Bailey, save your money.
Now, just have a little listen and a little chat with me and let me know what your thoughts are, because this is seriously concerning. This is for UK citizens, okay? So people in the UK that have got a savings of £10,000 or more. Now guess what the government are now looking to do? Go on, guess. I didn't quite hear you. Do you want to shout it out a little bit louder? Did you want to put it in the comments? That's right. They're going to tax us. Now exactly how much this is going to be by, we know it's probably going to be just ridiculously stupid and bang out of order. When are we going to stop being mugged off? Okay? Why are we letting this government continuously take the piss out of us? Seriously. We work hard, we pay taxes, we then save for the ones that can save, and if we've got a good amount of savings, we don't want to be mugged off or be taken the piss out of at all. So I know not everybody's got savings, but for those that have, they have grafted bloody hard. Okay, so I don't know what your thoughts are on this. I just think this is disgusting. This government needs to get out. They really, really do. So let me know your thoughts in the comments.
I definitely think there's at least 3 things that us Canadians can agree on. Number 1, the cost of living is absolutely way too high. Number 2, the money flow sucks. And number 3, it's definitely time for an election. And with all that being said, it's no wonder why us Canadians are out there working so much overtime, taking on 2-3 extra jobs, and those are physical jobs, and they're just burning themselves out, and they're not spending time with their families. There's got to be a better way, and I'm going to tell you there is a better way. So like, follow, and save this for later, because you're going to want to come back to it. My suggestion to you would be to take that cell phone that you're holding and scrolling social media with and learn how to use social media to make money online. And there are a lot of different programs out there that can teach you how to make money online. It is not just the one that I'm promoting. But that being said, if you want to learn how to make money online, I do have a program, and I do want to help you learn how to make money online so that you're not struggling financially and you're not burning yourself out working 2-3 jobs. So if you would like to learn how to make money online using your cell phone, learning how to use social media to make money online, I want you to go ahead and leave a comment or feel free to DM me.
If we're being honest, 2024 was definitely for the plot. Definitely for the plot. Baby, each month I was going through something that I did not have no business going through. That was impossible for me to go through. That I ain't never pictured myself going through it. You couldn't pay me to go through 2024 again. And I'm talking about, you can give me, I could be Bill Gates rich. If you asked me to go through this year again, I wouldn't, baby. I would still be poor. I do not care.
Recently, I reheard this song for the first time in years, and I was like, wait, are they actually that crazy? I feel like the first lines of the song, it says how they got married at like 17, and they had 6 kids, which like, yeah, babes, you're not a farmer in the 1850s, so like, that's crazy. But what I really want to point out is how it says he brought home $67 a week, and I'm assuming that's after taxes. And I was like, okay, is that actually like a little amount to live on, or is this just inflation? So I did some math, and at 17 years old, he was bringing $67 a week, which if you times that before, you get $268 a month. And then to find the year, this came out in 2010, so I just subtracted the 58 years they've been together to get 1952. And then from there, I just put in an inflation calculator to see that 1952, the $268 he was bringing home a month in 2010 was a little over $2,000, and now in 2024 it's a little over $3,000. So the fact that this man was trying to be like, oh, like got married young, I was barely making any money, we had 6 kids, babe, you're making more money than me at 17 than I am at 27. So
we both have good jobs. I'm a nurse. I'm a registered nurse.
I don't want this video to come off mean or insensitive, but truth of the matter is, you want to know how people are making it? There's a lot of people in this world that ain't never been broke. And with the $100,000 a year becoming the new, like what, $40,000 a year, some people are struggling. Money don't come the way it used to. You got people out here complaining they only got $300-400 to last them a week. There's some of us out here making $300 or $400 a week. Blue collar folks are resilient. They'll figure it out. They'll go load dumpsters if they have to. Hell, we'll dive through dumpsters if we have to. Truth of the matter is, and if there's one thing I am grateful for, whatever's happening right now is waking a lot of people up to the idea that this math ain't mathin'. There are people out there working their butts off and working side hustles and still can't afford gas and groceries. $100 seems to be the new $20, and if you ain't never lived off of $20, you're not going to make it on that 100. You think we like gas station hot dogs? No. But they tend to be 2 for $5. Sometimes you can even get a combo deal where you get a fountain drink and some chips. People out here spending a day's worth of work on a Cobb salad to try to keep up with the Joneses. They ain't never been broke. The Joneses got evicted. A lot of people want to have this idea of a perceived idea of wealth. They want to maintain a certain image. And people I'm trying to impress ain't paying my bills. I got fussed at by one of those mega churches for not putting in my 10%. Lord said he wouldn't give me anything I can't handle, and I think he'll understand right now. And I've heard a lot of people say that they can't pay their bills off of work ethic. Well, you can if you know how to use it.
As Donald Trump has won the presidency, homes have immediately become more expensive and less in reach for average American citizens. And that is because mortgage rates are on the rise. And I will now explain how and why that is happening in a totally non-political way. Now, the reason why homes have become more expensive is because mortgage rates are on the rise. In fact, immediately after Trump winning the election, mortgage rates increased from 6.72% to 6.79%. In fact, mortgage rates have been on the rise since September 26, when they were at 6.08% for a 30-year mortgage and 5.16% for a 15-year mortgage, and have been on the rise as it started to look more and more likely that Trump was going to win. But what does Trump have to do with mortgage rates? Isn't this more so affected by interest rates at the Fed? And the Fed have been cutting interest rates. In fact, they've cut it by 0.75% this year so far. Shouldn't that mean mortgage rates should also be coming down? And the answer is no, because mortgage rates are forward-looking towards expected inflationary pressure, and 3 key policies that Trump ran on are all inflationary: tax cuts, tariffs, and deportation. Now, I just made a video talking about how and why tariffs cause inflation. Now, if you import in goods, tariffs are actually an import tax put on the U.S. company. But it's not like they cover that whole thing. They push the costs onto the U.S. consumer. But if we even move everything within America, we cannot meet our own consumption demands, even if we produce as much as raw materials as we possibly can to try to meet that consumption. We will have to import in goods that get hit with that tariff that push on costs to U.S. citizens. And if more U.S. citizens are part of the labor force making our goods, U.S. citizens require much higher salaries, and those costs are much more expensive than any shipping costs you're saving on, and they ultimately as well get pushed on to the end consumers, making things more expensive and increasing inflation. Trump's policy of tax cuts is also inflationary. And the reason why is these are very large tax cuts for corporations as well as for very wealthy people. Now, you might say, oh, if corporations getting taxed less, their profit margins are going to be even better. There's not going to be a need to increase the price of goods. Correct. In fact, they're going to hire more people as well, potentially, and job market could do very, very well. That all does and sounds and feels really, really good. But the thing is if more people have high-paying jobs, more people have more money. If more people have more money, and if more people are being taxed less, they also have more money, they spend more. If you spend more, demand goes up. If demand goes up, so too do the price of goods, and therefore inflation. Now let's talk about deportations, because you might immediately be like, how the hell did deportations increase inflation? What do they have to do with it? In fact, if you're actually removing people from America, aren't there less people to buy things, which means demand actually comes down and inflation would come down? That is an effect. However, the effect of increased labor costs, because cheap labor from immigration, especially for things like picking crops and agriculture, you're going to have to hire more people locally. Once again, Americans require much higher salaries. So if a company's labor costs go up, It's not like they eat those costs for the benefit of society. These are for-profit companies, right? They're going to take those costs and cook them into their products, and the cost of the goods go up at a much higher degree than the demand comes down from less people in America because they've, been deported, right? It is ultimately an inflationary trigger. And it's because of those three main policies. Granted, they haven't been enacted, right? So what ultimately does get pushed through, if they do push through policies across those three that are just less aggressive than what Trump has talked about on his campaign, we could see mortgage rates begin to lower. However, if they are implemented the way that the Trump campaign said that they want to implement them, mortgage rates could be expected to continue to increase and then maintain very, very high rates, making it less affordable and less attainable for Americans to one day own a home.
I just got a call from a friend of mine asking me if I knew a good place for someone to tent because his other friend who works full time is now homeless because of Trudeau and Chow and all these commies. And so he needs to find a nice homeless community to go live in. These are wild times.
I think all of us are truly on the same side because if we look at issues, the average American's life, regardless of presidential administration, has gotten worse since 1980. In 1980, the average salary was 40% of what the average home price is. Now it's 10%, right? There's an affordability crisis in this country. And while us as working people, we're arguing about drag queens in schools and all these other issues, we're completely ignoring the fact that it's our young that's getting sent off to die in these wars. It's our young who are not going to have the ability to buy a home, and it's going to be drastically harder to live the lifestyle that their parents lived. And I would just like to open an olive branch to everybody. I want to have real conversations because I feel like it's the Democrats that say the Republicans, they're the party that support those elites. And it's Republicans who say it's the Democrats. That's the party that supports those elites. And I would like to have conversations for us to try to figure out how we can all live a better life.
Elon Musk, the world's richest man, wants to cut $2 trillion in federal spending. The United States is $36 trillion in debt, and Elon is a billionaire genius that's going to fix it all. A man that has used more taxpayer money to build his empire than we will ever see in a lifetime wants to dismantle the very systems and safety nets that our taxpayer dollars are supposed to have been paying for. We're not in debt because our parents or our grandparents are collecting Social Security. We're not in debt because of a struggling family's Medicaid benefits. We're in debt because for decades we have prioritized corporate profits, endless wars, and tax cuts for the rich over the well-being of ordinary Americans. Donald Trump's 2017 tax cuts for the rich, which are still in effect today, are estimated to increase the deficit by almost $2 trillion over 10 years. Why don't you start there if you want to save $2 trillion? The United States spends more on defense than the next 10 countries combined. You've got billions to pay defense contractors, but you want to cut VA benefits while veterans are sleeping on the streets. We're in debt because when Wall Street gambled away our economy in 2008, the government used trillions of taxpayer dollars to bail them out. The American people did not create this problem, but we will be the ones to bear the burden. The $2 trillion in cuts won't come from defense contractors or corporate subsidies. They're going to come from programs that millions of Americans rely on, have paid for, and are legally entitled to. Social Security is funded directly from our paychecks, but I guess we can kiss that money goodbye because that's getting cut. Millions of taxpayers will lose access to healthcare because Medicaid is getting cut. Education benefits, college grants, all that's getting cut. Thousands of federal employees are going to be looking for a job. And who knows, Elon might just cut unemployment compensation as well. The man who built his fortune on the backs of tax-paying Americans is going to cut the very programs that benefit those taxpayers. The way that Elon Musk plans on achieving his $2 trillion in cuts is a betrayal of the American people. It's class warfare, stripping resources from those that need it most while the richest among us get richer. And Elon has been tasked to make sure that that happens in the most efficient way possible.
Pleasant good morning, Trinidad and Tobago. How are you? Now, I have been thinking why it is we as a people, we are so brainwashed. What happened to us? Why we cannot stand up? We just believe in, well, we go vote people out, or somebody do something for you, turn the other cheek, just sit down and take. And in my research, I realized We have been brainwashed from since the Massa days by means of our religious books, and especially the Bible, Christianity. The Massa have forced us, our ancestors, into believing the lies that they have written in this book called the Bible. Now, a lot of all you could, I know all you will come down on me for this, some of all you Christians, but have an open mind. Now, I am not saying that the Bible is a lie, but a lot of it was manipulated, was changed for us to be a submissive people. And when or while they plundered and raped and killed and steal all the goals from our ancestors and forced our ancestors into slavery to get the same goal that they were trying to, and not trying anymore, but when they got the goal and they live in the best life, they convince us that our best life is when we die. And when we go to heaven, we will be in a street, we will have streets of gold. So they're living their best life here, while our best life, we waiting to die to go and have our best life. Now, another thing is that they have plans, right? 100-year, 500-year plans for their children, grandchildren, great-grandchildren, great-great-grandchildren. They're putting things in place for their generation, right? While they're brainwashing you to think here what the rapture coming, Christ coming just now. So you don't have to put nothing in place for your children and your grandchildren, because Christ coming just now. You're going to die. All you think of how this whole brainwashing system came into place. You remember when you went to school, right? And as a child, the brainwashing you, because this brainwash starts from inception, from a child, right? Because they did it to your grandparents, your forefathers coming down, and your parents doing it to you to have you in submission. Don't go there, sit down there, right? Don't move. And when you go into school, you hear the bell ring, you know that is to run and get in line. And then they're telling you, okay, hands up, down, hands up, down. And they put you in a small desk to sit down. And they teach you. You can't talk, you can't move. And they brainwash you with the education for you to be a submissive person, for you to shut your mouth and don't say anything. Now, I want all you to do some research and see the ways in which the government, whether it is PNM, UNC, COP, whoever, how they are brainwashing you, how they have you in submission, where when they're doing this shit, you can't move, you can't think for yourself, you are afraid. We are a people who we are always in fear of what the government is going to do. We yap and we bump our gums behind closed doors. But we cannot come out and speak because of fear. Because of the fear they have instilled in us. And to make us a submissive people. Check all your Bible. Check what it teach you. Because there are a lot of things in that book. It's to have you where you are today. A submissive, dumb people, where you're not providing for your generation. You're not putting things in place so that your children and your children will have a better future. All you're there, just waiting to die to go to heaven. And not enjoying all your best life here on this earth. God gave all you one life to live. One. And you all prefer to sit down and wait to die. To have that best life. So this is just food for thought. Think about what I'm saying. Right? I'm not bashing the Bible, you know. There are some things in it. Yeah, it's real. God is real. I know it have a God. I believe in God. But there are some things that all you have to take a second read. And think about, is that true? Was this put here to have me a submissive person, to keep me in line, so that I will do what the master say, or whoever in power? Think about it. And all you will, any comments, tell me, write it up in the comments what all you think. I would love to hear it. So have a blessed and wonderful day, and be safe.
America, have you figured it out yet? That it is rich against poor, us versus them, the top elites versus the bottom 99%. With each passing year, it is a faster descent to the bottom for the majority of Americans. While the rich just keep expanding, they keep growing, they keep hoarding more of the wealth, leaving less resources for the rest of us. The rich keep increasing their prices and dropping our wages, stealing the wealth from every worker on this planet, exploiting them and using them until there's nothing left. The top 1% has more wealth than we can possibly even fathom, while the rest of us starve and eat fucking crumbs. I hope we're all growing fucking tired of this bullshit. It seems like a lot of people are waking up, and we may be in the end stage capitalism. There has to be a balance between the workers and the CEOs and the corporations. But the CEOs have no intention of making things more fair, more equal. Even though we do the labor, they do not want us to have a more equal share in the profits of that labor. In fact, they want to own everything. Giant corporations are buying apartment complexes and houses and entire neighborhoods so that we all become renters instead of owners. They basically want everything to be run in like a cloud environment where we all have to pay monthly fees for services. Look at the electric cars. Fuck that. I would not buy one. They want to start having subscription models just to have fucking air conditioning. Are you kidding me? The most basic shit. They are finding ways to extrapolate our wealth and make us pay for the most mundane shit. How much longer can Americans bear the weight of funding CEOs, corporations, and the billionaire class? How far do we have to sink as a society before we say no more? We already can't survive. What is it going to take for Americans to wake up and demand real fucking change?